All right. Good evening and welcome to the June 5th, 2025 Parks and Recreation regular hybrid video meeting. The time is now 5:01 and we are in session. My name is Commissioner Peter Struck and my term as chair ended May 31st. With the vacancy of a chair, staff has asked that I preside over this meeting until the commission appoints a chair later this evening or sometime in the future. Tonight's Park and Recreation Commission meeting is in person at the Mercer Island Community and Events Center, and we are using video conferencing technology provided by Zoom. The Zoom video of this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the city's YouTube channel later this week. Public audience members may be watching this meeting in person at the Mercer Island Community and Events Center, by telephone, or online. Welcome to all, and thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight, we are excited to welcome a new Parks and Recreation Commissioner, Mar Bretman. Mar, would you be willing to share a bit about what interested you in volunteering to be on the Parks and Recreation Committee?
Sure. Thanks so much, Peter. I have 2 young children, and so we are a constant user of our parks here on Mercer Island and really love them. And I saw being on the commission as a way to give back to the city and get more involved and being able to serve our members in our community. Yeah.
Thank you. And again, we welcome you and look forward to working with you in the coming months.
Thank you.
Now for our roll call. Commissioners, please turn on your microphones, and will the city staff please call the roll?
Thank you, Commissioner Struck. Commissioner Hay?
Here.
Commissioner Markson? Commissioner Cohen? Commissioner Westberg? Commissioner McCarthy?
Here.
Commissioner Bretman?
Here.
Commissioner Struck?
Here.
Thank you.
City staff, is there anyone who has signed up for appearances that wishes to address the commission this evening?
No, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. So we will move to our first item on the agenda, which is the staff liaison report and planning schedule update. And for that, we are going to welcome our recreation manager, Ryan Daly.
Good evening, Parks Commission, and welcome Commissioner Bretman and Commissioner Markson when she gets here. Congratulations on the reappointment. And just to note, Commissioner Markson did let us know that she'll be about an hour late and be coming in later on this evening. There. Awesome. All right, just a quick report, couple updates for us. Jean's Children's Park, the park site plan, as you know, we've undertaken a number of community engagement opportunities, and our first round is basically wrapping up. So at the April 5th date, we hosted a booth at the Leap for Green event here at the community center. From April 21st through the 23rd, we had an online survey with 102 responses. We attended the MIPA Circus, held an open house at Island Park Elementary, and then a really exciting thing happened over the last month, and that was May 12th through the 22nd, where our Parks Capital team visited 54 Mercer Island classes, engaging with more than 1,200 students from K through 5th grade. Really an awesome opportunity for those kids to get involved in this process. I'm not gonna lie, our staff had maybe as much fun being there, and you can see that from those photos. That's our newer capital projects manager, Shelby Peralt there, who's presenting. This went really, really well, and I do have a couple items. The most popular equipment has been swings, climbers, and spinners, and imaginative play. And 2 really key themes have emerged from the conversations, and one being Fairy Tale Kingdom, which kind of comes in place with the Dragon Park theme, as well as Treehouse Adventure. So something to keep your eyes on as we go forward. And I think one of the really exciting things was we had 175 park layouts submitted by students. So sharing their ideas of what that park can be. And as someone who's been with Mercer Island for a number of years, I don't believe we've ever taken such a large scale engagement of the youth population in this way. and had such a targeted focus on them. And it's really resulting in some great input on the actual users of the facility. So really excited to see that process play out as we go into summer, which will have a number of other key engagements that'll occur. And that'll be at Mostly Music's in the park, as well as at summer celebrations. So more to come. And then information will be brought back. Those design concepts will be brought back to the Parks and Rec Commission at our September meeting. Other replacements, Roanoke Park. If you haven't driven by there, that project is going very well. You can see the 18-foot tall Neptune climber there. That's a very exciting piece. And you'll actually be able to climb up on the top and see the water from there. So it's a really cool structure that's going in. The crew is just finishing up pouring the curbing that goes around the outside of the structure. And then the poured in place surfacing will be installed here in the next couple of weeks. First Hill Park, the city staff is finalizing the contract with the contractor and with Landscape Structures Incorporated through a Sourcewell purchasing cooperative. That's sort of an ease of purchasing that we're able to do as a city. And then that construction timing is coming forward and will be shared on Let's Talk and also incorporated in mailings to the park neighbors. And you can follow both of those projects on the link below. Luther Burbank Courts, as painful as it is, we had to close the courts this week to move forward with that project and get it wrapped up. So currently, that's actually a picture, I believe, from yesterday afternoon. Progress is going really well on that with the painting and the acrylic surfacing. So that will be in that state until about June 15th, when we'll open those courts back up for play. Shortly after that, we'll close them again. You can kind of see the mural wall there in the background. There will be some touch-up work done to that, restoring the mural, and then courts will be open and ready for play for everyone. We do have new rule signage and additional informational signage that will go up on those courts when the fencing is removed and ready to play. Great responses over the last couple of weeks, just with people going down there and playing. We're seeing large volumes of play. Obviously, it's, you know, some of the nicest courts in the region. So that's going really, really well. I will highlight for the Parks Commission conversations I've been having with some individuals who will say haven't been able to get on the courts. Our rules we're anticipating will address some of those issues. If you think about maybe how do we balance that family aspect who may want to go learn how to play pickleball versus your more traditional crowd that's down there and maybe has taken over a bit more ownership of the courts. So something we're working on balancing and working with Dink on Mercer Island to help us with that creation of an inclusive culture on those courts. So when pickleball will come back to the commission will be sometime next fall. And we'll be talking about some court usage policies that will relate to facility rentals of those courts and potentially limiting and what does that look like from a standpoint of balancing community access with potential rental usage. So more to come. Some updates with park maintenance, completed some irrigation repairs at Homestead and Aubrey Davis Park, milfoil removal at Luther Burbank and Groveland Beach. Spring cleaning here at the community center. Actually, that was just occurring right before the commission arrived today, getting our parking lot nice and cleaned up. And you'll see in the coming weeks, the hillside being cleaned up as well. And our park maintenance team has also undertaken some cleanup aspects up at the Pea Patch. So as I'm sure your yards are seeing, things are blooming and weeds are starting to come out of the woodwork. So our team is up there addressing those items as well. Additionally, and I want to highlight this is, we've seen, and I believe Katie Herzog reported on this last meeting, really busy athletic field season. We saw that last year and it's carried through to this year. And with that, you run into some more challenges with your dirt-based or your sand-based athletic fields. You get your batter's boxes dug out, your pitching mounds have to be rebuilt. Our park maintenance team is actually doing that sort of for the first time mid-season this year because of the volume of usage. So They're out doing some turf rehab as well as some infield rehab so that those fields remain playable through the rest of the summer. So excellent work on their part. Also fertilizing those outfield areas and enhancing that growth. Training, one of the things our park maintenance team has also undertaken this year is cross-training a lot more of their staff. With the volume of usage we're seeing on the athletic fields, there's become a need to have more staff able to do these different tasks, and that's something that they've incorporated into their staffing model. So extremely helpful to the recreation side of the house that just keeps booking these facilities out. But there is a balance of usage that we have to maintain, and sometimes we do have to shut those fields down for a week or 10 days to allow them to grow and rehab. Some upcoming events. Juneteenth is our next event on June 19th. That's a Thursday at Mercerdale Park, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. This is in partnership with the Mercer Island High School Black Student Union, and there will be food trucks and music, vendors, activities. Had a really good turnout last year, and again, looking forward to that this year as well. Summer celebration is coming much faster than I was ready for. July 12th is the date. Very, very similar aspect or outlook from previous years. Looking forward to the parade as well as live entertainment, art and food vendors, and of course the fireworks here at Luther Burbank Park. That schedule is accurate and will be published, and you'll see much more promotion as we get closer to that date. Generally, we're about a month in, and that's when it really starts to ramp up. And a huge thank you to our sponsors. We've had a couple of new sponsors pop up this year. Without them, these types of events would not be able to occur at the scale they do. Mostly Music in the Park. We have an excellent lineup. We're going to be kicking that off on Thursday, July 17th. Again, a number of outstanding sponsors. Every year, it seems that these concerts get more and more popular. So looking forward to a really great year this year. And then on August 7th, we're going to be celebrating Pride in the Park. So we've wrapped Pride into our event there with Mostly Music, and looking forward to a great turnout. And that event will have activities actually starting earlier at 4:30 p.m. and then going through with music as normal until about dark. And just two last items. Mercer Island summer camps going very well actually with registration currently. We have a new recreation specialist, or newer, I should say, who's really been out promoting these. Lego is always a hit here. So if you're interested in any Lego programs, sign up early. That is one that will fill. We also have chess this year, as well as our traditional biking camp that takes place down in Luther Burbank. And just a heads up, July is Parks and Recreation Month, and I'm really encouraging the commission to get out and enjoy the parks, check things out. We may not have a meeting in July, so it's a great opportunity for us to get out there and celebrate Parks and Recreation Month. Oh, speaking of the planning schedule, you'll notice July, we do not have any agenda items currently scheduled. I'm really crossing my fingers that maybe we won't have any scheduled, so we can all enjoy Parks and Recreation Month. And then we will be taking our August break as is normal. And then my anticipation is that we'll be returning in September to address or to review the Dean's Children's Park site plan and those design concepts. We will get an update on the athletic field and allocation use policy. This is also the opportunity for any of our field users to share their experiences with the Parks Commission. One of the things this allows us as staff is to receive equal information and create a fair opportunity for everybody to provide that information at the same time, rather than maybe one-off meetings with individual staff that becomes a bit inequitable. So
Ryan,
oh,
on
go for it.
that point, will you be reaching out to the various user groups to let them know that
Yes,
this is their opportunity?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And have to many already. And then you'll notice on that September 4th meeting, we also have the bylaws annual review. I will be working with our chair to find out what we want that to look like. My recommendation will be to receive any desired conversations on that item to be put before the Parks Commission, we can discuss it at that meeting and then return to another meeting to really hammer out any changes that may need to be made or want to be made later on in that year. So that's sort of the plan on that. And then October 2nd, we'll be looking at the athletic court allocation and use policy. That will be for those pickleball courts down at Luther Burbank. And I anticipate probably 2 meetings on that. And also discussing the community center fee waiver policy. Currently, we do not have a policy that allows us to waive fees for nonprofit groups or those who may want to be coming in and running a community event. You might remember the sponsorship policy for outdoor events. We'd like to have a conversation with the Parks Commission to see what that desire might be and how to potentially enable additional community access to this facility. With that, I thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. The next item on the agenda is to review and consider approving the minutes from May 1st, 2025 regular hybrid meeting. Commissioners, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Second. Okay, there's been a motion by Commissioner McCarthy and a second by Commissioner Hay. Commissioners, does anyone have any questions or comments before we vote? Okay, seeing none, please again turn on your microphones, and the city staff, please conduct a roll call vote.
Thank you, Commissioner Struck. Commissioner McCarthy,
Aye.
Commissioner Bretman,
Aye.
Commissioner Hay,
Aye.
Commissioner Struck.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Struck.
Motion passes and the minutes are approved. Moving along, the next item on the agenda is the commission's officer elections. And again, we welcome back Recreation Manager Ryan Day to begin that conversation.
Thank you, Commissioners. Try that again. Your microphone's on.
Somebody. Very good.
Cheers on board.
What turned it off?
Test. Okay, we're back in business. Thank you. Well, that was interesting. Kind of sounded like a DJ or something there. That was something else. So we're here to discuss the appointment of chair and vice chair. As laid out in your packet, there is a process. We can go through with a nomination process and move forward with appointing a chair and vice chair. Or if the commission desires to delay that and put that onto the September meeting, which I anticipate being our next meeting in September, there's a motion that could be made to do that as well. So I would defer to the commission if they would like to make a motion or submit nominations. And that would be for the position of chair.
Okay, I'm going to read this motion. Move to suspend the chair and vice chair elections until the next regularly scheduled meeting and have Commissioner Peter serve as the presiding officer for the remainder of the June 5th PRC meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All right, if seeing none, staff, could you call the roll on this motion?
Thank you, Commissioner Struck. Commissioner McCarthy,
Aye.
Commissioner Bretton,
Aye.
Commissioner Hay,
Aye.
Commissioner Struck.
Aye. Motion passes and we will postpone the elections until our next meeting. So thank you for that. Okay, now we get to the meat of our agenda. And for that, this is the annual King County Library System Mercer Island Branch update. And we're going to ask Recreation Manager Ryan Daly again to navigate this one for us.
Here we go. I'm back. This is the most I've spoken at a meeting in a long time. This is great. So KCLS is a partner with us, obviously having a branch here on Mercer Island. The Parks and Recreation Commission serves as an advisory board to that, to KCLS on aspects regarding the Mercer Island branch. So I'm actually going to pass it over to staff from KCLS, which is John Scheller and Brian Candelori. Close. There we go.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you, Commissioners, Councilmember Reynolds, John Scheller, Government Relations Manager for the King County Library System. And I'm with Brian Candelori, Regional Manager with responsibility for the Mercer Island Library. We're going to review requested information in your white handout. And also there are two blue data sheets for 2023 and 2024 that were requested. So we'll start by going through the handout, and then Brian's got a small slide deck presentation as well. So I'd like to hand it over to Brian for item number 1 on the white handout.
John, just for, should we hold our questions to the end or how do you want to do that?
Thanks for asking. No, feel free to ask as we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Councilmember Commissioner. I'm really afraid to activate whatever just happened again, so that's the hesitation. But some great news. We'll start with some really great news, which is that KCLS is adding Sunday hours at Mercer Island this fall. So we're really excited about that, and that work has already started to begin. And we'll get into some of the more nuanced responses.
And we'll provide a more formal announcement to council and to Mayor Neese when the details are available. But wanted to give you the top line, hot off the press. So just walking through, these are responses to some of the requests for data that we received, the financial snapshot. I should point out, and for your newest commissioner, this may be review or maybe new information, but we are a regional service provider with responsibility for all of King County with the exception of the city of Seattle. So we have 50 locations in 35 cities and also all of unincorporated King County. So with the 250,000 plus residents of unincorporated King, if they were a city, they'd be the second largest in the state. So it is quite a geographic and populated spread that we serve. So as such, the metrics that we typically provide to our board aren't always broken down by geographical subdivision. So I'm providing the information that I could find. One of the requests was to try to mirror the board report, but it won't quite be apples to apples. So thank you. One of the requests was to verify some of the financial data that the commission had. I was not able to verify the source or the accounting of all of it, but I was able to confirm that the revenue was 5190520. That's what you had already. On the value side, I'm not sure where the number provided, kind of came from, but here's what I was able to calculate. 7.69 million in value of the bulleted items below. So we're able to share the dollar value of the physical items borrowed based on retail value if someone were to purchase those. Similarly with the digital materials, the 4.7 million. The staffing allocation is really payroll allocations. So this is succinct or specific to Mercer Island. And same thing with utilities. That's just straight billing. Buildings and grounds, that includes routine maintenance, but also we did some safety and landscape improvement. There was a existing literacy garden that was aged and included some structure that we felt was no longer safe. So that was removed and replaced with native plants and other spruce up to that. And also some emergency cleanup of the cyclone bomb in November. That was an additional cost. That's captured in that number. What's not captured is a lot of the overhead that, because we're regional, we can share, and we have a lot of efficiency by using that regional model. IT department staff, they don't necessarily come to Mercer Island to perform maintenance at Mercer Island. So that's not one that we cost out for you. We're not able to capture materials borrowed from the reciprocal libraries that Mercer Island card holders have access to by virtue of them being a King County Library System card holder. And we suspect that there's a lot of use in Seattle. So being a King County Library card holder, you're eligible to get a Seattle Public card. We don't have that data. Student and classroom account values are not easily captured. We can capture the number of student and classroom cards. And for those of you who aren't aware of this program, every student in the Mercer Island School District is eligible to receive an electronic access card without coming into the library. We have an arrangement with the district, and their student ID number becomes their card number. We also provide classroom cards when asked, or teacher cards when asked, so that the teachers can develop curriculum using our electronic resources. So that's an additional benefit to your community. Got some stats on the card holder usage, and if you refer to the two blue sheets as well, we were asked to provide 2023 and 2024, so you could kind of compare those. You'll see that the digital checkouts expanded quite a bit in 2024 over 2023. We're real happy with that. The cost data that we're providing comes from our vendor and does not include renewed items. So some of the total numbers that you see on the blue sheet may be higher than the white sheet that includes the value of those items, because we don't consider a renewal a purchase. But for our purposes, the blue sheet, that's the data we look at individual transactions. And Mercer Island is quite busy. And as you can see, comparing 23 to 24, decent increases in all categories. Beyond the Mercer Island Library, page 2 of the white handout shows we were able to check for cardholders who have Mercer Island Library as their home branch. Have they used those cards anywhere else in 2024? And it's quite impressive. All of the libraries that were visited, these are physical visits. It's not holds that were sent from these libraries. It's items were checked out at those libraries. Excuse me. We were asked to share comparable data from our governing board report of the Net Promoter Score. This is a universal system that asks a couple of questions. Did you learn something new? And did you feel a sense of connection by attending the programs or activities that we provided? Excuse me. System-wide, the Net Promoter Score for 2024 was in the 80s, but isolating Mercer Island, it was actually 100%. So everyone who responded to this questionnaire felt that they achieved both of those things. So we're really proud of that. We were asked a question about partnerships. and how we sometimes work with groups and they may get more meeting room use access to do programs and activities with us. So these are the criteria that we use when evaluating potential partners. It's very straightforward and doesn't really need any explanation, but I'll add, if there are any groups or organizations that have come to you and asked, how do I become a partner with KCLS? Just have them contact library staff and we'll work through it with them. We were also asked about feedback methods. And so I included that system-wide. We have a number of ways that people provide input, share a concern, share compliments. All of this is reviewed by our administration and our executive director. Some of the Ask KCLS might not make it all the way up to the director. If it's a routine library reference question, staff will just handle it. Comment cards are still actively used, both hard copy and online. And people do come and make comment at the Board of Trustees meetings. So we have a pretty robust input process that we use. Related to that, I had a question for the commission. How does the commission share our responses to the questions that you provided us? Some of the questions we got indicated they were from community members, so wasn't sure how that gets back.
Well, I'll take a first crack at that. And thank you. I think the information I've been doing this 3 or 4 years now, and the information that's been provided tonight is by far and away the best it's ever been. So thank you for that. And in terms of sharing, clearly for individual members, we can go back to them and say, well, here it is. But as I see this information, I mean, some of this I think could actually be posted in the library. You know, for example, you know, the net promoter score is an example. Well, you know, that's kind of a metric, but I mean, you can put us a little bit of a context around saying, hey, the system average is 80 something. We're at 100. That's great. And things like that. Given that this is the first time we've really had this breadth of information, I think you pose a great question of how we can kind of disseminate this better, and that'll be on us to do that.
Great. Well, if it worked out to where you included my contact info, if
Sure.
anyone wanted
Yeah.
follow-up information or how we got these numbers, anything like that, I'm happy to converse.
But Councilmember Reynolds, go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, well,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, maybe we could ask Ryan to pass some of this information on to Jesse as well. It seems like a candidate to share some of it through the MI Weekly or other communication channels.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because one of the things I think is important is kind of, you know, is there's great information here, but then kind of, well, how do we kind of compare relative? I mean, I think, you know, it sounds like we have a very engaged community that really uses the services of the Mercer Island Library and so forth. And that's something that the community should be proud of. And
Yeah.
I think it engenders a lot of additional support for KCLS in general then. So I
Thank
think
you.
it's-
Thank you.
It's a very
Yeah, when I look
positive
at
feedback. Yeah.
the number of active patrons, and if you compare that to your population, you can see it's very high. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Brian for Mercer Island specific programs and activities and maybe some coming events.
We do that. All right. Okay, good. It's working. Still a little shy. All right. Let's see if we can get this going. So I asked if this rabbit has a name, and our operations manager, who's been here a very long time, is not aware if it has a name. So if anyone here does know the name, I want to call it Peter Rabbit, but I'm very much open to ideas. So thank you, John. My name is Brian Candelori. I am the regional manager. I just came from Mercer Island, and I have worked at libraries in Brooklyn and DC and Queens, and now here. And the Mercer Island Library is, you should be proud of your community's engagement. It is always packed. When I left there now, there was not a single table that was free enough. The reason I remember that is there was a I was thinking there was this younger patron who I kind of thought of as myself, kind of nerdy, and he couldn't find his spot. And that's why I know that there was no space. I'm sure we found a place for him. So, by Peter. So, again, we're going to be opening 7 days. You'll start seeing this play out. I'm very excited about this. One of the things I'm especially proud of is that about a year ago, we had to make a decision. We had a very popular part-time librarian who left. And we had to make a decision on should we go through the process of getting a full-time children's librarian or just fill the part-time job real quick. And we decided to eat that. We knew it wasn't going to be a popular decision. With that said, we have hired one. It is a process to go through to get the change in FTE, but it has happened. Like most changes, sometimes from the outside, it can be a little frustrating on why it takes a little longer. So thank you for your patience. So we will have double the amount. It is a full-time position. So we will have we'll have much more access to a children's librarian. There'll be more programming, more connections with the schools. So a lot of our strategies are playing out, and we're hoping that that ROI will be felt by the citizens of this island. All right. So we have summer reading program, which I don't want to one up July. I'm sorry, Ryan, that you guys are trying to own that, but we own the entire season. So you have a book bingo card in front of you. And I'm sorry, Raven and Ryan, I will get you one. So we're pretty psyched about this. We have teamed up with Seattle across the way, and Seattle Arts and Lectures, which does great stuff if you've had a chance to check out some of their stuff. This is for the adults. There was an article in the Times, the New York Times, actually recently that had this in it, the book bingo sheet. So that's pretty cool. And if you come this Saturday to either Mercer Island, or if you are at any other KCLS location, which according to the data, your fellow residents go to quite a bit, go there on Saturday. There is going to be a summer reading party at almost every branch. And if you come early, you'll be able to get a Curious Creature welcome kit, hopefully. And in it is a free book, reading age appropriate, a Red Robin coupon. We've got some, I found out today we have some Band-Aids that are made for like they're Sasquatch themed Band-Aids, which seems a little too much for me, but like the kids will love it. That's what I know. So we're excited about this. So please come check it out.
If I could just add,
Please.
Brian,
Yeah.
the purpose, so our executive director, Heidi Daniel, came to us from Baltimore Pratt Library, and she came last March and she observed our summer reading program, which was wonderful and well attended, but it was kind of the same thing we had been doing year over year. And she really wanted to revamp it in a way that put more excitement up front and put less emphasis on children, tracking their reading and having to hit a certain number of things before they get a reward and the reinforcement. So this is a new concept, having them be able to select a book right at the start and really get that enthusiasm going and then continue it throughout all the summer. So we're expecting quite a response. Thanks.
No, I mean, thank you. And as a librarian, that is my profession. One of the things we're excited about is that it celebrates reading. We are distinct from schools, and that we hope to get you on your way and help you get there, but we're not going to be making you take a test at the beginning of the summer and then at the end. So we're just really excited to get books in their hands, help them find their way. Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to participate. I don't think we're allowed to participate as employees, but I think it's
We
cool.
just don't get the prizes.
Well, that's
Go ahead and read, Brian.
underwhelming. So, but I bet I can join the pickleball tournament. So I wanted to also bring some highlights. So we currently have a librarian that transferred over from Issaquah a couple months ago, and she's hit the ground running. And soon we will have a second full-time librarian coming in who's gonna complement even more. So we have Mandarin story times, which we still have going through June. We're excited about that. Everyone is welcome. I might add, in my last system, we started doing bilingual story times. One of the really cool things is that I've had patrons come to me who would just see story time and show up, and they would be really excited to see that their kids would pick up a language that they didn't hear at home. So I thought that I always try to remind people that that's a cool thing you can do. For those of you with little ones, a wild robot, pretty popular right now. So we have a Lego program on the 1st of July, which is when I will probably put something on your agenda for the 3rd of July meeting. But please check that out. And on Saturday, for those of you who have made dumplings, we only have 12 seats remaining. So if you go and sign in now, you can get your spot. We're excited about that. I'm not saying that anyone here should go to this training, but we do have tech support. So hopefully there is not a repeat of the audio, whatever just happened there. I think we all will be echoing for the rest of the tinnitus moment. But that is every Saturday. And what's really cool about this is that your teens have been coming to our branch and asking to do this. And we thought it was going to sunset with the end of the school year, but they don't care. They just like doing it. So we've extended it through the summer. And as long as they keep showing up, we're going to keep doing it. And that's a really cool way that KCLS is helping facilitate that community feel I mean, we are part of Mercer Island. We are Mercer Island. We're in it. There's a few other programs we've got. We've got a book club. They're reading a great book next month called South to America. This month is The Art Thief. I have not read that. And lastly, there's a lot of, I'm helping my grandparents with this. There's a lot of supporting aging parents, estate planning, aging in place. And there's, I just found out about this one today. There's going to be an AI aging in place program coming, which I was thinking of like that little seal. I don't know if any of you ever saw that show where there's like a seal they give to people who are alone at home, and it mimics certain things. So maybe it's a little more sophisticated. I still want that seal. So we went over the responses to the questions. I want to thank the hard work. The Mercer Island Friends, the library group, is a force. And I want to say about a year ago, we had a delivery delay, and Preston is where we keep our books. And I got a flare from Joe, the manager in the building. Because of the delay, our books had not shown up, but the Friends group had. And so I drove to Preston, and I was able to, I have a smaller Honda. I think I was able to get about 8 boxes in there. They ate them up real quick. And every time you go to a book sale at the Mercer Island Friends group, it is just, they're just plowing through books and generating resources that we reinvest right into the island. So thank you to them. Thank you to all the work you do, council member and commissioners. It's really, really cool to work in a place where the community is such a strong advocate and lover of the library. It makes, as a librarian, it's something it makes my heart grow. So thank you. And if you have any suggestions, ideas, it's a July meeting that we could throw them on, but also we're happy to take them. And here's our contact information. I'm afraid I didn't bring cards, which I shouldn't say on recorded line. So thank you.
Okay, commissioners, any questions? Mar?
Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. You mentioned that you are going to be working on more connections with the school as a result of having your full-time children librarian, which I'm very glad to hear. My kids are in the Mercer Island School District, and we are actually seeing cuts in funding for our librarians. And so I'm really interested to learn more about what the vision is there and what the hope is and how you might be working with the district.
Again, as a librarian, I guess I've identified as a librarian about 10 times tonight, but that's a national trend for sure. Coming from New York, that was done mid-2000s by Mayor Bloomberg. Outside of what John was talking about, which is truly one of the easiest ways to get people access, we will probably look at, and part of it's going to be onboarding. right? Like real talk. She's gonna come in, we've got to align the resources and skills she has with what we have and amplify that. In terms of a vision, I'd love to hear more about what you're looking for. Typically, we would probably do some school visits. And it is not, I mean, it's not hard. That library is packed. So, but we always want to get people to come use our resources. So I don't know if that's, we really care. I'd say what I care about most is igniting that love of reading. And that's when I used to do school visits myself. That's what I cared about was, for me, I struggled with reading when I was younger. And so schools didn't always line up with, I wasn't always made to feel particularly intelligent. But when I went to the library, that was when I could just roam. And that is the kind of outlet that we want to provide for the children of Mercer and every other community in the country. So I'm happy to talk offline. And we'd love to hear more about what you want. Yeah.
Commissioner McCarthy has a question.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to ask, maybe you guys need to have a contest to name the rabbit. That could be part of the summer program. I'm sure that the kids would come up with some really great names, and that seems like a great way to engage the community.
In case it's not clear, from the way I present myself, I am loving this idea and I will talk to Joe. I don't know what authority I have over that, but there was a Sasquatch that you can win if you complete the summer bingo. I believe the head of HR was at our board meeting last week, so I could not take it. So I think you had just left before I threatened to take it. But we did find it online. So I purchased it. And my goal is to get a little Casey Less bandana for it. And then in my last branch, we had an elf on a shelf contest. So the kids would find the elf and then bring it up and we give them like some type of free tchotchke or toy. I like this idea. I'm all for it. I'll ask Joe. I bet facilities will have an opinion, so I'll have to vet it with them. But I thought it would have a name. Is there who's the first mayor of Mercer Island? That's what that's going to be. Who's the most famous Mercer Islander? That's what it'll default to probably.
My guess is there may be an art component to it that includes the name.
I can chime in a little bit
Matrix
here
box.
on the
Sorry.
background of said rabbit. That is actually part of the city's collection of public art. It does not have a name,
Yeah.
so we're looking for a name. And that
That
would
could
be
be an
helpful.
annual contest.
Yeah.
I can name it every year.
Absolutely.
Would Mercer Island be happy if we named the rabbit?
I think
We could come back on
give it
July
up.
3rd and talk
Yeah.
about it. Yes.
Absolutely.
I
Commissioner
love
Hay,
it. Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Hay.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I have a comment first and then a question. I want to thank you for all the programs, and that library is packed all the time. I agree. I'm there often, and it is a heavily used resource in the community. I appreciate it. Thank you. Anecdotally, I also call the rabbit Peter. My kids call it Peter, and before I knew you, Peter, it's what we called,
After.
so I think naming the rabbit is a great idea. See where that goes. My question is about books, physical books. And I remember asking this last year as well about the possibility of increasing the number of physical materials at the library, because these statistics are great. Thanks for sharing these. I noticed that we have a 13% increase in patrons. A huge increase in people coming through the doors, and 5% decrease in actual physical materials being checked out, but a 20% increase on the computer sessions. So I'm seeing a lot of digital activity. When I go in there, I see that, and the statistics reflect that. And while that's great, I think in this increasingly digital world where my family goes for books is the library. And at our local library, that's something that I think we could use more of, seeing that there's a decrease in the actual physical book. So we actually go over to the Seattle library.
Mhm.
We joined recently, and we check out about 17 books every time we go. And I didn't realize until we signed up there that you can't, I mean, you can turn the books in at Mercer Island, but you don't really know when they're going to make it back to Seattle. It's kind of a fuzzy reciprocal relationship. Still, we're very grateful for that resource being there. And I wonder what we can do to increase the number of books that we have locally.
Yeah, that's a budget item for sure. And we do try to balance the demand. The demand for digital materials has increased. You can see on the stats, and it makes sense. We have a robust physical collection budget, but it is not infinite. So that is a balance we're continually trying to strike. We will have our 2026 budget process begin that includes public budget hearings. Those are going to be virtual as well as in person. So that would be a venue to share that with our board and our director as they make the final decisions for the budget requests. But it is a real balancing act. I am a book person myself. I like the hard copy. There's no substitute for a good children's book, the illustrations, the watching the kids learn how to turn the pages. So we're not getting out of the book business anytime soon, but any kind of an increase in digital or paper is a budget item. And on top of that, with the increased demand in the digital materials, the arrangement with publishers for digital materials is different than book buying. Books, we can buy a book. We can lend it as many times as people want it until it falls apart. With digital material, we lease. The leases are limited. After a certain number of checkouts, the digital material disappears. We just don't have it anymore. So we're in constant conversation with the publishers. We have a good rapport with our publishers, but we need that model to be looked at in a way that's more fair to libraries that could potentially make more of that available. So if, for example, we could own a digital book instead of having to release it, that might make more money available for a hard copy as well.
Thanks. And then a follow-up question to that. Is this, would you say that this data is representative of a trend in general across all libraries, that what patrons want is digital, and that's why the data reflects that, as opposed, are people
Our data
increasingly
actually
moving towards that?
comparing nationally, we have stronger physical material demand at the King County Library System than many libraries around the country. The trend is much more digital surpassing physical. That's not been the trend here, and we're really happy about that. But in all likelihood, that could very well become our trend. And that will definitely have a budgetary impact because we do want to meet demand. So that's our challenge.
Thank you.
Can I take a quick stab at this without revealing the ages to protect your privacy? What types of books are you borrowing at Seattle?
Yeah, it would typically be young adult and children's, teen, young adult, teen, and then I sometimes check out books for myself. So, but in particular, the area that they have for young adults and children is really, I mean, I'm sure, yeah, I know you've been there, but others that haven't, it's really amazing. They have so many books for children and teens, and just, able to browse. And I think that's a population that is not going to be captured by the digital books, because kids like to browse, they like to, look at the pictures, as you mentioned. So, but, at the same time, I understand that if people don't want to check out the books that are there and they're going to go for the digital, then, I understand that it's kind of moving in that direction.
Is it down? You're talking about the central library?
Mhm.
That we can never, I'm never gonna, I come from systems with central libraries, and they definitely have unique roles within their systems, which we don't. I think Bellevue is the closest we have to a central library at KCLS, but a promising thing that I can assert is that with this new librarian, one of the things we'll be doing is looking at our collection more and refreshing it more so that there is better selection. We can never compete with Seattle Public's central light. Like, I wouldn't even pretend to do that. But stay tuned a couple of months from now. I do recall this question from last year. But yeah, hopefully that you see some changes locally that make you and the citizens of the island happy. So.
Yeah, and then maybe you can clear up for me the process, because it's still a little bit fuzzy. If we check out books in Seattle, I'm told that we can drop them off at the Mercer Island branch.
Yeah,
but we
our
don't
computer systems
know
are not linked.
Yeah,
And when they had their cyber attack that took Seattle Public offline for months, that's part of that reason. So we don't have a way to track your account at Seattle through our system. And there's a number of privacy reasons why that will continue. But we have regular exchange of materials and shipments. So the system works, but it's not something where you could look just on your KCLS card and see the tracking of the Seattle materials.
sure. Yeah, so I'm told that I can drop them off, but we don't know when they'll make it back to Seattle. And there's no late fees, but there are replacement fees if the books don't make it back.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's a way, for down the road, if there's a way to kind of establish that reciprocal agreement so that people from other cities can check books out, drop them off at their local branch, and then maybe there's, Seattle library crew that comes around and picks them up. Just, in the future, that might kind of open up the options for physical materials.
We used to think of it as like a hostage exchange in DC because so many counties surround the district. And each of those counties has its own system and ILS. So similar to, I can't join I imagine a racquetball or pickleball tournament through Ryan for Seattle's Park and Rec. It's like such a minor thing that it's like, I'm a resident of King County. Why is this it's just one of those moments where you're like, why is this it's so annoying? But typically what we did as branch staff is we would just pile them up and then we would, it's so unsophisticated. We would just send it, all the books for, I know in Brooklyn, we would send them to North Brooklyn, to Greenpoint, and once a month, someone from Queens would come literally pick them up. And then they would have to process that, so it's just one of those unfortunate, technical things that, it's just a hiccup. I can't make any promises on, but locally with the Mercer, I can provide some hope. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, just one last question for Brian. So
Sure.
all those program activities that you quickly went through, and there's a myriad of. So is there a place online, if you go to kcls.org, like the Mercer Island, is there like an event calendar or something?
Yeah.
Okay,
Just pro tip, the way the UX works now is it defaults to online programming too. So just make sure you uncheck that if you are not interested in that. And that's the baseline. We're getting a new librarian, so we'll only be going up from here.
okay,
So yeah.
KCLS.org.
Yeah, Mercer Island Library, KCLS.
Yeah,
It'll come up. Yeah.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Brian and John. I think we got our work cut out for us, but there's a lot of great opportunities, and we really appreciate you being here this evening. And unless there are any final thoughts, we'll move on to the next and the last
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
item. Yes, thank you. So our last item of business is absences and commissioners' reports. And I'd like to start by asking the commissioners for a motion to excuse Commissioner Cohn, Westberg, and Markson from absence from tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner McCarthy.
Second?
Thank you, Commissioner Hay. So there's been a motion by Commissioner McCarthy and a second by Commissioner Hay. Any comments? Seeing none. Staff, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner McCarthy,
Aye.
Commissioner Bretman,
Aye.
Commissioner Hay,
Aye.
Chair Struck.
Aye.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, motion is passed. And then commissioner reports and or planned absences for the future. Anybody have any? Commissioner Hay?
I just want to thank the Parks and Rec team for their very hard work getting the baseball fields ready before all of the games. It was a really busy Little League season. and the fields looked great every time. Thank you. I know it's a lot of work when the kids, especially the little ones, are out there digging holes in the dirt and picking the grass. And so you did a great job getting it ready for the season. Thank you.
We only blame the dogs. We never blame the kids.
Right. That's what I meant. The dogs. Exactly.
So I have three quick observations. First, I want to thank the Mercer Island Rotary. They made a $3,000 contribution for the Dragon Park remodel updates. So thanks to that organization. And then a couple weeks ago, Mara and I were at the Mercer Island volunteer event. And one of the staffers, whose name I didn't catch, but she was one of the volunteer coordinators, and she was rattling off a lot of statistics. All I remember is regarding parks, there were hundreds of volunteers last year that compiled thousands of hours volunteering in various aspects. And so my hats are off to all those individuals and all the great work they do there. And then finally, just a second, what Ryan mentioned regarding, again, the Dragon Park and interviewing the K through 5, all the elementary school kids. As I thought about it, that kind of business 101, interview your client, right? And it's not us, it's them. So congratulations on that. And with that, I will look to move to.
Commissioner,
Yeah.
if there's no more reports, I do have 2 items I'd
Okay.
love to.
All right, please do.
So I was watching the meeting, the previous meeting I wasn't there for, and I believe there was 2 sort of follow-up items from the annual report, one of which was a bike skills area update. It sounded like the commission was desiring that. I spoke with Jason Kittner, our chief of operations. More than likely, that'll be something that we wrap into a capital projects update. My guess is going to be that's going to tie in also with an update on levy funds and how those have been utilized. So anticipate that to be something that gets rolled together. But great to hear from the commission that that's a desire to hear more info on that. If I'm missing anything on that item, let me know. And before it comes forward, any actual data points or items you'd like us to present on, I'll reach out to the commission and try to get those from you as well. The second item was adding in parks report with the recreation report. Perhaps hours utilized, things like that. I spoke also with Jason on that. Very receptive. We're going to try to figure out how to make that happen. That's actually in our department work plan that was approved by city council. So anticipate that being something that comes forward. If not this year, it'll be for the following year, but we'll be taking this year to kind of get that ball rolling and start figuring out the data points that we can collect. But those are 2 items I just wanted to follow up with the commission that are on my radar as well.
Thank you for that, Ryan. So our next Park and Recreation Commission meeting is a regular meeting on July 3rd, 2025, beginning at 5 p.m. The time is now 6:04 p.m. and the meeting is adjourned. However, as a reminder to commissioners, please stay seated until city staff has terminated the Zoom broadcast. Good evening and thank you for joining us this evening.